So welcome to 1 Million Cups, Colorado Springs. We are happy to be live on Facebook, and this is recorded. We also have platforms, YouTube, Instagram. Brandy handles a lot of that for us right now. So all the organizers are on the page right now. Everybody wave if you're an organizer. If you ever need anything from us, you can reach out to any of us in person once we're back at the warehouse, who is typically our space host. We're right here. So to start our morning, we have our coffee. We're sponsoring our own cups. Typically, it's the BBE SBDC. So let's cheers to entrepreneurship, to sharing our stories, to all the goodness that's going to come from the self-quarantine we have going on in 2020. Before we start, Jeff is going to share an amazing quote that one of our other organizers shared. He's not on today, so Josh can't read it himself. But Jeff's going to share a quote that we all
it's
so
pretty
much.
distinct, but also thin.
Get started with our other introductions. So, Jeff, if you want to unmute, then you should be good to go with that.
Good morning, everybody. This is a quote from Ryan Holiday that Josh was able to send to us. An entrepreneur is someone with faith in their ability to make something where there was nothing before. To them, the idea that no one has ever done this or that is a good thing. When given an unfair task, some rightly see it as a chance to test what they're made of, to give it all they've got, knowing full well how difficult it will be to win. They see it as an opportunity because it is often in that desperate, nothing to lose state that we are our most creative. Our best ideas come from there, where obstacles illuminate new options. And that's by Ryan Holiday.
Definitely a great way to start the day. And 1 Million Cups is a nationwide networking group. So we have over 180. Okay, I'll speak up. That's definitely my computer. So we have over 180 locations across the United States. So the idea is that across the country, there are 1 million people sitting down to a cup of coffee, listening to an entrepreneurial journey. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Thank you to our coffee roaster, which is Eagle and Crane. They have a special going on, support local. He'll post that in the chat so you can find links and get some coffee to your home. And then if you ever want to be one of those sponsors, then reach out to one of the organizers mentioned earlier, and we would be happy to get you that 30-second spot so you can promote your business and support the coffee roaster and the drinking of coffee for all of our participants. So as always, we jump right into our first presentation. We have Danielle with Renaissance Consulting. She's going to share her entrepreneurial journey in 6 minutes, and then we're going to have 20 minutes of questions and answers. So please be prepared in the Facebook page. Ask your questions as we're going. And then when it comes time for that, our organizers will get those questions out. So take it away, Danielle.
Good morning. Danielle McCarthy with Renaissance Coaching. So my entrepreneurial journey starts kind of back in my 20s when I actually wanted to start a business but didn't know what, when, where, how. And coming right out of high school, I did the University of Mom, mastered in hard knocks, and earned a PhD in military life, being a military spouse. And in '97, when my husband was medically discharged, we came back to the Colorado Springs area. I am a Colorado Springs native, born and raised, go Thunderbirds. And I decided at that point that I needed to go to college. And so I became the first generation in my family to attend college. And I graduated from UCCS with a degree in sociology and a minor in communications, as well as from Pikes Peak Community College with a degree in sign language, American Sign Language, and interpreting. Took all of that, moved our family to the Western Slope, and I started in the public education realm and went on to earn a master's degree in special education, where I tucked 3 specialties underneath that, with a behavior specialty, reading specialty, and deaf and hard of hearing specialty. All of that would be thrown out the window in 2012 when I would come home full time to take care of my husband, and who would need my support both physically as well as just to be at home to take care of him medically. In 2012, I started, which is where my entrepreneurial journey really kind of starts taking hold. I started a blog called Vibrant Caregiving, and that was an online journey of what it was like to be a full-time mom, a full-time caregiver, and trying to just figure out what life meant at that point. Within a few years, that would change over to a consulting business where I worked with local entities as the Vibrant Caregiver, and I would work with families who are facing the dynamics of dementia and what that was looking like, working with families with special needs children and helping them find local resources and what have you. Then life did something that it does always. It took a drastic turn, not for the better. Looking back now, it is for the better, but in 2017, within an 8-week period, everything, and I do mean everything I knew true about my life was completely destroyed. It would leave me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially devastated. And what I'm talking about is I lost my husband. 8 weeks prior to his death, I went through my own medical issues and had to essentially design life anew. So starting in 2018, started putting life and pieces back together. And Vibrant Caregiving was part of that, in that taking those skills that I'd learned as a caregiver and building a business and starting to rebuild life. And Renaissance Coaching is just that same business, but now pivoting in a different way, simply because being able to work with families that are still facing the dynamics of dementia, I can't give them as much as I would have previously because it still hits too much of a piece of me that's still very raw. And I still do work with families who are facing the challenges of working with special needs children. It's still something near and dear to my heart. But Renaissance Coaching, like I said, is just this quick pivot to where I am at now, which is designing, crafting, and creating a new life. Post grief, post becoming a Gold Star wife. I recently became a Blue Star mom as well. I'm still trying to help my 4 sons figure out life, and Renaissance Coaching is pulling all of that. During that time between 2012 to 2017, I also took coursework towards an MBA, as well as a life coaching certification through one of Tony Robbins' strategic intervention institutions. My apologies there. And truly pulling all of that experience of the School of Hard Knocks and mastering hard knocks and what it's like to really pull yourself back up and not understand what life is handing you, what life is teaching you, but just knowing that one small step in the right direction, one courageous step, when not even knowing if the road's going to be there when you put your foot down, is what born Renaissance Coaching. Last year, I met an amazing person through networking, and she gifted me a business conference ticket to go with her to a business building conference in Denver. And that's when Renaissance Coaching itself was born. And if you look back through the Renaissance period, that was a time of creation, a time of innovation, a time of rethinking and challenging the status quo. And that's pretty much where Renaissance Coaching was born from, and wanting to give back what I've learned through all of my skills, my experience, and share that with other individuals and with my clients. So that's my journey to where we get today.
Okay, I'll go first.
There we go.
There we go. Sam, go ahead, Sam.
My mute was stuck. Sorry about that. Thank you for sharing, Danielle. I've been following your journey for a few years, and I know you are who you are. And you've always been this amazing person, and you went through something really tough, and because you are who you are, it came out even more who you are. So I don't know how to say that any more eloquently, but yes, Brandy had our first question, and then Mac will let us know what online questions that we're having. So go for it, Brandy.
All right. So, Danielle, it seems like you coach across the board, many different categories. Why do you not have a niche, or do you have a niche that you specialize in? Explain a little bit more about your coaching style.
So my coaching style, the trend right now in the industry is to have a niche. And I am one of those weird few that are challenging that status quo and that I don't have a niche specifically. My marketing niches, I don't. And that's because my life coaching certification coming through the training and certification that I did was across the board and was meant to work with as much and as many people as possible. I can't be everything to everyone by any means, but definitely working with a diverse array of people. I've worked just even in my professional experience, not just as a coach, but over the years of working as a parent mentor, with parents facing the challenges of special needs children to families with the dynamics of dementia. I've also worked with veterans in crisis, women in crisis. And so there's been just this experience that I bring to the table. And then working with children who are medically fragile and nonverbal, that also brings in a whole different dynamic of coaching and being able to recognize behavior and a context of behavior for how people communicate. Working as a sign language interpreter, when you're taking the purest essence of a message that's spoken and being able to see the intention behind the words, bridge that very eloquently into a visual language with all of the appropriate intention and meaning and cultural equivalence, and being able to do that, and then put that out in a very physical, visual way off your hands and off your body. You begin to recognize patterns. You can see and experience people on a whole new level when you're seeing communication like that. And then when you're seeing behavior as a communication as well. So my niche is not really there. I'm one of those few that kind of goes in and I look at the antecedent, what is causing behavior, and using Socratic method to help you understand your behavior and what that might be causing. It's not just mindset. Mindset's great. Empowerment, encouragement is great, but sometimes you have to go beyond mindset to find out what truly is dragging you down and why those behaviors and those patterns might still be arising. So that's why I don't necessarily have a niche.
Now, you told me the other day there's a lot of people that you coach that they don't even know they have areas they need coaching in until you sit down with them and break that down. So that's really cool that you're flexible in all aspects of that type of coaching. So, all right, I think Amber's got a question for you.
Yes.
Hey there. We really enjoyed listening to your story. Excellent delivery. There was a question I just couldn't help but ask, and that is, what are you doing for self-care? What are you doing to take care of you because of work, because of personal?
So that's a great question. Go ahead, say the rest of that. I'm sorry, you broke up.
We were just curious what you're doing for self-care, and great presentation.
Oh, thank you. So what do I do for self-care? It's a myriad of things. Probably the biggest one is reading. I am an avid reader. So, reading is probably one of the best things. I would love to say that there's one specific book that I'm reading right now. That is not the case. The second thing that I do for self-care is I meditate. I have been a meditator in meditation for over 20 years. And I take walks with my dogs. And after my husband's death and trying to find myself after that, you have to rebuild almost everything about you. A friend of mine quoted it as me going through my dark night of the soul, which is where one identity is stripped before the new one presents. And you really have to do some huge self-evaluation, some self delving and really finding out what's important to you. And I remember thinking the first year after my husband's death, I wanted wonder back in my life because that was gone. And so now I find wonder in the natural world. I mean, I did before, but I love seeing when it snows. I love the sunshine. I love going and putting my feet in the ground, hugging a tree. And self-care is also journaling. I mentored with another coach here in town, and she's a journaling coach, and she's taught me a lot about journaling. And that has been a form of self-care. So there's lots of things I do for self-care. There's also, I think, as we were warming up this morning, we were talking about dancing, and I would definitely say that there is a Dance Party USA occasionally in my house or in the car or down the street. And I happily sing off key to any song that I feel like singing to. So that would be self-care right there.
Hi, Danielle.
Hey.
We have a question from Facebook. It's from Heather Langton. She asks, can you tell us a success story from your coaching?
Yes, thanks, Heather. I appreciate that. Good morning. I miss you. I miss seeing your face, my prophet queen. A success story. So I'm currently working with two clients. They're both CEOs, which is interesting because they both found me through some business niche marketing. I went looking specifically for business CEOs. And the first one came to me saying that they felt that they had plateaued in their business. And their sales, interestingly, for the first quarter of this year, were already 50% better than what their previous sales were the entire last year of all of 2019. And I thought, well, that's just really weird. Why do you feel like you're plateauing? And so as we were doing some question and answer, and I'm a huge Socratic method person, I don't have the answers. I just help you find the answers within yourself. Come to find out, he felt like he was plateauing in his own personal life and wasn't able to move past that. And so it was interesting. We went from business coach over to basic life coach, kind of back to where I specialize in, even though I can do really well in business coaching, finding that they were feeling if they themselves had plateaued, they couldn't feel like they had reached success with their business because something personally wasn't going well for them. And then on the other side, I have a brand new novice CEO. They've been in business for a little over a year now. And they just feel like, you know, as we all know, as entrepreneurs, it's a constant stand up that, you know, take a step and fall flat on our face and get back up and do it again and get back up. And they just felt like they were doing something wrong. And it was helping them understand that that's exactly what they were doing right, was getting up every day, failing miserably, and then getting back up to do it again the next day. And I think that's how we are in life. That's not just in business, you know, every single day, just going through our normal lives. There's, you know, we do experience failure, and sometimes it's trying to figure out how to get back up and using those failures as a lesson to ourselves. And then also, if we're feeling like a failure, what behavior behind that is causing that? So thanks, Heather. I appreciate for that shout out.
Awesome. We have another question from Facebook. This one's from Linda Hagin. She says, I've met many people who face the worst, but somehow come out so much better than they dreamed possible. Can you share your motivation and what pulled you up to your new renaissance?
That's a really great question. It's going to be tears. Love. I had the most amazing gift for 25 years. Was my husband and his unconditional love. And it was through love, not just his, but the love of my 4 sons and their amazingness in stepping up to help their mama get through that. So love, it truly is. It's an action. It's not a word. It's an action. And when you make that one of your core values, my core values, Brene Brown says, you know, really look into what your core values are. And mine are grace, gratitude, and love. And those 3 things have shown up in such amazing ways in my life since my husband's death. that there are just days I just stand there in tears for answered prayers and answered manifestations as opposed to unanswered prayers. I would have never asked for the life that I have, but I am so grateful for the life that I have past my husband's death. So that would definitely be how that Renaissance is showing up in my life.
Awesome. Danielle, can you help those of us that don't know what the Socratic method is? Could you inform us a little bit?
Perfect. I'm actually going to do it right back to you. What do you think it means?
I don't know.
So perfect. No, so Socratic method is that you ask open-ended questions. So when I was tutoring while I was going through school in my late 20s, early 30s, because I was a non-traditional student, I actually was a tutor and a supplemental instructor at Pikes Peak Community College. And our training was that of Socratic method. And a line has always stuck with me during my training, which is the person holding the pencil, which also means the person who's doing the thinking is the person who's doing the learning. So by doing that, and that also falls into my teaching and education background, having worked with every age and stage of person from birth through elder care and everybody in between. Socratic method is asking those open-ended questions, and they're very specific open-ended questions that help guide the next step for the person. So in your question of like, I don't know what this is, Socrates, from philosophy, would ask questions of people. What does that mean for you? Why do you think that has happened? How did this work out for you? How did that not work out for you? It's the who, what, when, where, why, how of questioning, and being able to ask those questions and find those moments, those pieces when somebody's telling you this is where I'm struggling, and asking them, why do you think you're struggling? Why did this not work out? Why not? And just being able to ask those open-ended questions and letting the person doing the learning do the thinking. So great question.
Thanks. Randy's next here with a question.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So your life is completely transformed in just 3 years.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be like 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I can't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine
Or wait, let me rephrase. Where do you want it to be in 5 years?
Where do I want it to be in 5 years? I want to still be impacting people. I want somebody to go, man, this is a lesson I learned a long time ago, and I'm thankful for the person who brought that to me, and I want to be that person. You know, it's really interesting. When I was sitting there after my husband's death and going through my medical concerns, and not being able to work, and the best I could do was get up and shower and then sit on the couch for the rest of the day. That was literally what my life was like for about 6 to 9 months after my husband's death, because mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and what I was going through with his death, but also the medical concerns I had, you have a lot of time to think. And it was interesting to me. I didn't have a plan of where my life was going. I kind of still don't. I have my goals, don't get me wrong. But in 5 years, where do I want to be? I want to be still making an impact. I want people to remember, maybe not necessarily my name, but I want them to remember how I made them feel and the lessons that they learned from me. That's what I want. That's where I want to be in 5 years. And I want to be an amazing little mountain cabin somewhere in Green Mountain Falls, Ute Pass, Woodland Park area. Simple things.
All right, Danielle, I have another Facebook question for you. Now, this one comes from Carrie, and she says, how would you handle a situation if someone wants help but is resistant to being helped?
So that's a great question. That's actually come up several times in my coaching, and it's also something that as a parent you experience too. So I could draw on that. I go back to Love and Logic parenting, which is also something I use in my classroom with Love and Logic teaching. And I find that it works really well. Sometimes we're resistant because it means we have to step through our biggest fear. Sometimes we're resistant because it's a shame storm that's still presenting itself. Sometimes it's a childhood, a trauma, maybe not even a childhood trauma, but a trauma is still the same. And because of my background in special education and understanding behavior, I don't understand all of behavior, but a good chunk of it. I start looking for trends in behavior. And so when I start seeing a client resisting and it's a consistent resistance across the same place, I will finally turn the tables. I'm not your typical lotions, notions, potions coach. And hey, this is a great mindset. I'll turn it on you and go, okay, so how many more times do we need to have this conversation before you want to make this impact for yourself? So a little bit of tough love will come in there. But before turning the tough love piece on to somebody like that, I try and watch for that trend and be very compassionate and offer grace and extend that they may not have the tools, resources, knowledge, language, words, or insight to give voice to it. So helping with that Socratic method to keep questioning and then asking them point blank, you know, by the way, I'm seeing this resistance. Let's talk about it. Let's hash this out. Let's rumble with it and see what we can do to resolve it. So great question. I hope that answered that.
Awesome. So I think I have one last question before Bob asks our super special question. We kind of alluded to it a few times. Do you want to tell us how you came up with the name Renaissance Consulting?
So Renaissance came actually, my son came up with the name, and it was pretty much because he's like, Mom, Renaissance, this is amazing, think about it. And so I have to give a huge shout out and nod to my son, Zach, who's actually the one that came up with that. And the more we talked about it and the more we've kind of fleshed it out, it made sense, because on so many different levels for me, it makes sense. One, the term itself, Renaissance, means rebirth. I don't necessarily feel like I'm in a rebirth. I'm definitely in a creation, creating a whole new life. And then secondly, so there's the term linguistically there, and then for myself personally, again, recrafting. And then third, the Renaissance time period is one of my favorite, one of my all-time heroes is Leonardo da Vinci, the quintessential Renaissance man. And Leonardo taught us and left such an amazing legacy of being knowledgeable and a master of so many trades. So, and that's kind of the same thing I am. There's usually not something that I don't have some idea about. And if I don't understand it, I'm the person that will go live in a library and figure it out. So Renaissance came from that amalgamation of just insights and experiences and having a conversation with my amazing son, Zach. So a huge shout out to him.
Bob's finding his unmute button.
Well, Danielle, great
bar.
story. You and I have talked a couple times through the thing, and I've never heard this side of you. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh,
for sharing
thank you.
your journey. I appreciate it. So what can we as a Colorado Springs community do for you?
So this is an awesome question. I've always loved this question, and I wouldn't allow myself to apply to be a presenter until I could actually answer this question. So it's going to be a trifecta. The first, and it's from my favorite book, The Atomic Havocs by James Clear. I challenge the Colorado Springs business community on 3 levels. Number 1, to help me build my business, because it's going to help you build your business. Number 1, I challenge you to improve something about you personally by 1% each day for the next 365 days. And in that, you will have garnered 33% growth in yourself. Imagine what that looks like a year from now, 33% growth on 1% of a habit that you want to improve. Second piece of that, take that same idea, now apply it to your business. 1% growth in your business. And now more than ever, given what we're facing and what we're looking at, 1%, and I know for some businesses that's really hard to understand. Where do we go? I've had to close my doors, whatever. Now's the time to look at your industry, look at a craft, look at honing your craft better by 1%, look to mentors and successful people in your industry, find out what they're doing, pick 1% and start improving your business by 1%, and figure out what that looks like over the next 365 days. To see what that business piece looks like. And then as a community, step into our community, step into those populations that are struggling, whether it's with children, with veterans, with men, women, business owners, restaurateurs, anybody, and then help them improve by 1%. That's 3 pieces of pie at 30%, which is 100%. Can we imagine what that looks like for you, your business, and our community if we all did that 1% in those 3 areas of our lives, what this world could look like coming out of this post-pandemic? So those are the 3 things. And if you're struggling in any one of those areas of understanding where you can improve by 1%, let's just sit down and chat. Let's have that conversation and let's see what I can do to help you with that. So that's my what you can do for the Colorado Springs, what you guys can do for me to help me build my business.
Well said, Danielle. We need a clap track, maybe a laugh track for some people too. Yeah. In just a second here, our organizers are going to bounce back and forth with community announcements. We have a plan for that. We'll see how that goes with all the bandwidth things that we're fighting for over the whole world. If you ever want to be our media sponsor, let us know. We usually have a recording of each presenter done by a local media sponsor. Today, our media sponsor, I think, is partially Bob, since he's clicking the record button on all that, and the Kaufman Foundation, who's in charge of 1 Million Cups. So if you'd like to be a part of that, reach out to Jeff. He takes care of that as an organizer. And so yeah, go ahead. Those of you organizers that we're going to do the community announcements, we spend about 3 or 4 minutes there today, I believe it is.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is Joe Locke. I've got 2 events for the Colorado Springs Chamber of Commerce. Tomorrow, they've gone online as well. This one is from 9 to 11 on mental health, both personal times, and then the 11:30 to 1, and that's the Chamber Connect luncheon. Bring your own, and on the computer, that's going to be leading. Did a great panel on Bob Kittredge, so hope to see you guys there. Over to you, Brandy.
Brandy's trying to find her unmute too. That's all right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it froze up there for a second. I just want to make sure everybody knows that the Tri-Lakes Chamber of Commerce is continuing their breakfast as well as their after hours. They're going to be on Zoom through the Chamber's pretty much Zoom platform. That information can be found on their community events page on the Tri-Lakes Chamber of Commerce website. So if you guys have not attended those events in the past and just want to check them out, great time to pop online and see if it might be a good fit for you. So that's all I got.
Awesome. And I know Mac is going to post those in there. It looks like Rihanna might have one. Did you say you had something? Go ahead.
I do. Everybody be sure that you're continuously checking in with the Pikes Peak SBDC. They're the first to release all information in regards to financial assistance and resources related to small businesses. They are your go-to. Plus, they have a series of free webinars coming up on April 17th, just in a couple of days. It's a really important one that all of us need to be aware of, and that's financial and legal scams during the COVID crisis. This is going to be extraordinarily helpful. Unfortunately, there are a lot of sharks swimming in our waters right now wanting to take advantage of us. So please join this webinar. It's going to be a really important one. Other than that, thanks everybody. Stay safe and healthy.
Very good. Yeah, Lena always has her thumb on the pulse of that. So the only thing before I introduce the next presenter is that if you're a first timer, let's hashtag first timer in the feed there. If you're an old timer, I guess you could put that too. We do have some alumni out there that also would be happy to educate you about what we do with 1 Million Cups. And again, it's across the country. So when you visit another state, actually, I do know our next presenter has presented at multiple 1 Million Cups. So Amber and her business partner and husband is on the line here today. They are with Secret Dance Addiction, and they're going to share their 6-minute story with us right now.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Hello.
Oh wait, of course you're all muted. Hopefully you're having a great day. I'm Mike.
And I'm Amber.
We just want to take a quick second to thank you guys for your time. This is a very important project, and it's like literally, as you'll see with our application, this is like our story. It's all come down to this. So let's launch into it. So as a couple, we met in the music studio. Amber's a singer. I'm a producer. Literally day one was like a handshake. Hey, I'm Michael. I don't think I've ever introduced myself as Michael. But yeah, we started making out songs together, and we really, really hit it off. I mean, we're married now, so I don't have to go too far into that. But for a long time, we really just empowered each other with just music. And as DJs in the industry, we saw what was happening in the scene, in the dance scene. And there's a lot of things that were awesome and a lot of things that are not so awesome, some of which you guys are probably aware of if any of you have been to any parties, concerts, dances, clubs. So we're going to go ahead and tell you about that. But yeah, we met and it was beautiful and awesome, and got married or got engaged at the base camp of Mount Everest. We are a nomadic DJ duo, so we live in a trailer. We do things very, very differently. And yes, that is a disco ball up there in our trailer for sure. So we kind of live life on the bleeding edge, as you might say. So, I'll launch into my part of the story real quick. Sorry, I kind of totally took that over.
Well, we have a very exciting story as a couple and business partners, but Mike's been performing full-time as a DJ for 8 years and myself as 6 years. And like he said, we both have stories with the nightlife scene and its extremes, I guess I'll say. So I'll hand that back to Mike.
Totally. Thanks, babe. She reins me in a little bit sometimes. It's perfect. So, yeah, we as professional live DJs for so long, I own an entertainment company of 8 years. We have like 25 DJs in the collective and some musicians and dancers. And this does definitely feed right into Secret Dance Addiction, our project. We have a huge network of awesome, talented artists that are all actually sitting at home right now, kind of like all of us. So really I got you. Really the goal is to change the industry, well, at least provide a bright light for the industry. So we've seen things that aren't necessarily great in the dance music industry. Alcoholism, drunk driving. Unfortunately, this kind of stuff is rampant in dance parties, but it really doesn't need to be. So yeah, let's kind of move on and we can talk about how and why.
So we've all heard like the EDM overdose stories. You know, there's this strong negative connotation with nightlife and drinking. We're not trying to change the nightlife industry, and we're not trying to change people either. What we want to do is provide an educated choice. So someone going out might not feel the pressure to drink, to do drugs, because we want to offer them that choice for tonight. So, for example, we're not entirely sober. We we drink once a year on Mike's birthday. That's also our wedding day. So, and neither one of us are recovering addicts, but we both have really kind of like, I would say, strong experiences with that industry. So like I said, we're looking to provide a choice. So with coronavirus, our launch date almost coincided exactly with coronavirus. And Secret Dance Addiction, we have an online app, luckily, which already had the capability for live streaming, but we're also like a live event series. So we had to make a very quick pivot with what that looked like. Obviously not having live events right now because of coronavirus event restrictions. So what we did is we just took all that energy and we put it straight into our online community and app. So like live DJ streams, online parties, and we're looking for ways to like make those different or unique, a little bit like extra. And yeah, so that's some of our challenges currently with coronavirus. So we're just really focusing on our online communities, and thank goodness we had the ability in our app for live streaming. So we've been doing that already. Yeah,
we were just featured in Westward because a lot of big DJs are doing this. They're doing live streaming every day, some of them, because we're all stuck at home. I'm seeing a 1 minute. Gotcha. Thanks, guys. So basically all these big DJs are doing it. Any entertainer, our job is to excite guests. So when we're stuck at home, we feel like this buildup of energy inside us. And we, as an entertainment company and as a duo of entertainers, we want to help everybody get that out and entertain some guests still. We know everybody still wants to dance. Nothing has changed. We're just all in our houses. So we took this opportunity to really focus on our community, get it really built up and ready. And then once this coronavirus thing blows over, we're going to hit it so hard. So that's our goal.
It's really allowed us to reconnect with the online community. Everyone's online right now. And it's also helped us create some cool content. So yeah, we're really excited to be here today and share our vision of
good job.
sober conscious community.
Awesome. Thank you for that great timekeeping, Rihanna. That's always fun. Isn't this group amazing?
DJs, we have really good timing. What can we say?
Right. So some of our organizers have some questions already, and then the Facebook questions are coming in as well. So first, I think it was Jeff that had a question.
Yes, thank you so much. First off, guys, what a cool story. Thank you for sharing it with us. You didn't really get a chance to allude to anything beyond your story. So will you tell me, what is the business model of Secret Dance Addiction?
Totally.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. We have such a fun story. So thank you for allowing us to share that. Secret Dance Addiction is an online community and sober conscious dance party. So we have an app that's available Android, iPhone, web, that has about 14 different groups in it, everything from mindfulness with meditations that we produce ourselves to interviews with sober influencers. We just interviewed Will Clark, a globally famous DJ. We also interviewed some kind of like sex, sobriety, and rock and roll influencers. So our content is 100% original on the platform. We do live streams for DJ sets, lots of fun stuff. It's basically like an online dance party without ads. So there's no references to alcohol, obviously. But we have like mocktail recipes, so it's super fun. And then we have the dance party series, which is sober mocktails, but like epic dance party, because what we're seeing, millennials and Gen Zs, we're very health conscious. A lot of people are drinking less all over the world. Alcohol consumption and even club attendance is going down, but EDM and Sober Curious is going up. So our events are really curated around providing like this next level experience, but just no alcohol. You're not sacrificing any of the fun for like partying positive.
We want to call it, sustainable partying. right? Party positive, because there's just a certain point where your body can't take that abuse. But dance parties never used to be like that. Like if you think way back, none of us existed back then, but dance parties were just that, people gathering around a fire and dancing. There was no ads, there was no social media, there was no alcohol. It was just, let's gather and dance. And we really want to bring that sacred space back to music and dance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great question.
I got a question for you guys. So sober consciousness is a big trend these days. Are you guys partnering with any other organizations, nonprofits, support groups, anything like that to help get your word out in the community?
We're looking at them for sure, and we are talking with them and interviewing with them. We're very open to collaboration for sure. We think this is such a big idea. It's definitely bigger than us. Yeah, we're definitely reaching out. If you guys have like a list or a short list or any connections, we're more than happy to connect with them for sure.
And I would say that's our goal of sharing the story with 1 Million Cups is collaboration, because the sober conscious and sober curious movements are kind of blowing across the Atlantic, actually from Europe and the UK. We have a handful of sober bars here in the US and a handful of influencers that got caught into the trend. But Mike's right. It's like really about that collaboration and everyone rising up together, because it's such a trend. It's so ingrained in our society. Mommy needs a glass of wine. When I go clubbing, I have vodka. This is my favorite drink. And those things don't reinvest in ourselves. It's like a short kind of like
call it a win.
False win. Yeah, false.
It's like it's borrowing energy or happiness from the next day. Really.
Right. Yeah,
we all
borrowing it
feel
from your Sunday.
So yeah, we're just trying to help people keep that inside themselves and party and dance and still have a great time.
Yeah, good point. And I know you guys have seen here at 1 Million Cups, we had the sober AF guy present, who's also in Denver. So I know you guys have connected with him. One of the hardest things for me to see some of my children's friends that were going to be doing prom this year, graduations and things like that. So I'm wondering if you guys have gotten involved in some of those things, because I actually got invited so that I could watch. I'm really excited to see a virtual prom. Sad, but excited at the same time. So how's that been for you guys?
That's awesome.
The virtual events, is that what you're referring to? Virtual events? Virtual events are interesting, right? You have a wide reach, but suddenly that one-to-one connection is a bit lost. So we're finding ways to like really spice it up, because even the A-list DJs are just DJing in their guest bedroom. They're wearing a t-shirt. You can see like a file cabinet. So we're working on like virtual DJ booths. We're able to provide like a kind of like a next level experience because of our entertainment company. So we're excited about that. However, our focus is still on those real life events. And also, too, you mentioned something, 21 and under, right? Because our platform and these dance parties are multi-generational. We listen very carefully to all of our music to make sure there's not like triggers of drugs, alcohol, swear words, because we have an 8-year-old, like bringing him to a dance party is incredibly fun. So we are like fam friendly, and anyone from ages 1 to like 120 could come to our parties and feel totally epic, because we've delivered that dance party experience both on and off the app, on and off the dance floor, digital and in real life, but just taking out the one thing that was honestly holding it back, which is alcohol, right?
But unfortunately, we found that the club scene, at least in certain venues, their business model is built on that. It's built on drink sales. So we haven't just found a niche, we found a fundamental issue of entertainment industry. So that's what we believe anyways. So we are seeing, we've done our research from the WHO, the World Health Organization's report in 2018, showed a trend in England and in the UK that kind of is blowing this way of less people drinking, more people abstaining, less drinks consumed. Lots of, you can go check it out. It's all for free, but it's like 480 pages. It's
Wow.
definitely happening. It's happening. 2018. It's changing. We feel it.
Sounds
So.
like we need a 1 million cups dance addiction festival. I know, Bob had a question next, right, Bob?
Yeah, let's go back to the business model. Is your app a membership? Do I pay to go to an event? Like, how are you generating income as a business for this?
Great question. So we are the sailboat, not the speedboat, and we're in the ocean. Our sails are lifted. We are feeling the winds. So our membership model currently, our pay model will be more in like June. We want to get to 1,000, what we're referring to as beta testers in the app, to provide feedback on the groups that we have, the originality of the content, kind of like an exclusive invite to like the startup and sober influencer community to join. And then from there, we do want to monetize the app at $5 a month or $49 a year, and that includes discounts on dance party tickets. So that's one model of revenue, and then the other is sponsorships in app and for events. So we don't have ads, but we are able to sell sponsorships. And so a strong piece of that is the partnerships we're building right now with non-alcoholic beverage companies in Colorado and all over the world, because that group of businesses, the non-alcoholic business sector, is charted to grow like 34% in the next 2 years. So we want to be on that trend as well and providing a next level drink experience, because when I go out, I do want to feel energized. I do want to feel good. And that's something healthy is going to provide me, not a depressant. So we want to like really stimulate like the mocktail industry. And SDA is also a testing platform for other business ideas we have, including a mocktail festival. So we really want to keep that going in the future. So I hope that helps to answer your question.
Hey guys, we have a question from Facebook. It's from Rachel Torres. She says, noticing the candy, and that's spelled with a K, in your promotional video, was that a conscious decision to still embrace the cultural aspects of the rave community? Also, all these virtual DJ sets have been epic.
Oh, great.
Yay,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
We only mean love. We only mean love for the DJ collaboration. We're just saying that as a visual viewer, that eyeball time, there's a tab right there. They didn't walk into the club and pay $25 to see that DJ set. So there's like less value associated. So people are clicking out much more quickly. It's like an eyeball time kind of digital problem, perhaps. But yes, God bless Dylan Francis.
I wanted to harken back to the rave, the early days of that too, because Secret Dance Addiction, the reason it's called Secret is we will eventually not be on social media, at least in the tense of like Facebook or Instagram and the way that it's used.
We're not currently. We're not on social media.
This is the crux of why we actually built our own app. Is we firmly believe that people should own their own data. We don't think that there should be any distractions from just partying and dancing. That's why we've taken out the alcohol, taken out the ads. We just want to bring it simply back to the dancing and the music. I know we're on Facebook right now. Hi guys, it's totally fine. But our goal is for sure to create a new healthy platform that's just super simple. We don't want to sell your data. We just want to dance and party with you guys. It's and sustainably so. I hope that's understandable.
For sure. And because we're not on social media, we're kind of kicking it back to those old school rave vibes.
Right.
We're also going to be launching like a text number. I went to raves when I was 14. It was so much fun. And I'm wearing candy right now. And we don't want to take We don't want to pick the scene apart. We don't want to change the scene. That's impossible. That club scene, that rave scene was there way before us, and it's going to be there way after. We just want people to understand that there's a choice, and there's not this pressure to intoxicate yourself or put yourself at risk and have a good time. Those things are not related. Alcohol is not related to having a good time. Drugs are not related to having a good time. It can be someone's choice, but we want to educate people on that choice. They have a choice. When I DJ, I'm not drinking, I'm working, right? So when someone goes to a club or a party or a festival, whether it's an SDA event or not, we want them to know that they can feel supported and they don't have to make those choices. And it can still be incredibly sexy, still be incredibly cool. There's this thing that's like sober isn't sexy. Sober is incredibly sexy. The second I stopped drinking, I lost weight. I felt great, right? So there's this clarity that comes from it that the industry is still trying to say, it's not cool not to drink. Hell yes, it's cool not to drink. It's really cool to invest in yourself and feel awesome. And dancing feels awesome. Going to see a dope DJ is awesome. So we just like want to instill that there is a choice, and it can be incredibly cool and fun still.
Rachel actually has a follow-up question related to this. She's asking, which non-alcoholic drink company is your favorite so far?
That's a bar. To be honest, I haven't tried that many. I drink a lot of LaCroix when given the chance. And I'm personally being exposed to dozens and hundreds of non-alcoholic drink companies. I'm very interested in Seedlip from the UK because they have more of a spirit. And I like mocktails a lot. I think they're very beautiful and very fun. So I'm learning. I don't have a favorite yet because I'm learning. This is a whole new thing for us too. So it's a passion project for sure.
I like H2O. It's my tried and true.
It's my favorite coffee. Anything with caffeine. Kava is great. I love kava very much. So yeah. Rachel, I'd love to hear from you what yours is as well, if you can pass that on through the grapevine.
Totally. Everybody needs to post that in there. I'm going to go on my phone and find your app. How much is your app?
$0.
It's free. Yeah.
Yeah, it's free for now. I mean, it's probably going to be free indefinitely. We're just going to have like an upgraded payment membership to access the dances for a discount and to do more features on the app. But right now, everything is free. There's tons of cool content in there. Go around, poke around. It's super fun. There's meditations that we made. It's super fun.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. So our ask is like, if there's someone that comes to mind, a community partner, someone that you think would enjoy like a health conscious, exciting party experience on and offline, that's what we're after. And yeah, beta testers, really just feedback on the content, feedback on the experience. We're in like week 2 of being truly live. So we're very open to feedback because this is so much bigger than just Mike and I.
Yeah.
Super cool. Brandy has a question, and then we'll have time for our super special question.
Yay.
Yeah. So I actually have a question, and I mean, obviously this is still very new for you guys, and who knows what this could look like, but do you see yourself at some point in the future having like your own club, brick and mortar? You guys are DJing, you're serving mocktails to the crowd. Like, how does this whole thing play out for you potentially down the road?
Yes,
I got big goals. I don't know about you guys, but that's where
no,
I
yeah, we're with you there for sure.
I didn't want to scare you with our big dreams. So.
Yeah, we keep it pretty moderate for presentations, but definitely, we actually were just talking about this the other day on a hike. We definitely see that in the future for SDA. There are already some awesome role model brick and mortar companies that are doing this kind of thing. We found some really cool like little signs and ads in New York. New York's kind of big on this trend. They have like a sign that says, keep this party 3D because like a phone is 2D, right? So it's like no phones on the dance floor, right? It's like a clever way to say that. And then obviously no drinking. So we do see that. We see like
the stages and stuff.
Stages.
Yeah, stages of festivals.
Oh yeah, totally. So we want to like do takeovers of festivals where we'd have like a secret dance addiction stage. Obviously, as a talent platform with Ignite Entertainment, that's my company for music. We have like the back end talent production gear to throw our own festivals, which we already have. So we kind of have like the 1-2 punch with this, where that we could already start achieving that. But first, we really want to see that user experience on the app, which is what we have to do right now anyways, thanks to COVID thing. So we're definitely focusing on that. But yeah, we want to see like what kind of parties people want, you know, what kind of stages they want, what kind of DJs they want. We want to connect with them directly without like, you know, Facebook or someone in between, or it's just like, you know, a nice fun our little house kind of, you know.
Very cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Yes.
Brandon.
Awesome. So we're coming towards the end. Oh, Brianne is ready to go. What you got?
All right, guys, here's the super important question. How can we as a Colorado Springs community help you?
Emby was already kind of anticipating this one. I think she's totally nailed it. Collaborations. If you guys know influencers that are sober or that love to dance, people that would embody this idea, we would love to connect with them for sure. Any mocktail recipes or chefs, mixologists, please connect us. We're just all about the collaboration for sure. And then of course, yeah, poke around on the app. It's free. It's healthy, good vibes. If there's anything on there you want to see added or have any questions, we're all ears right now. So anything
awesome. I'm totally feeling a 1 Million Cups mocktail to go along with the 1 Million Cups secret dance addiction.
Yeah.
And I think Bob knows a club owner we might be in contact with very soon too. So you can do those at all times of the day. You mentioned content. So our content is being recorded on Zoom and will be posted on other social media platforms. You're welcome to grab that and post it wherever you want. So this is your content too.
Thank you.
And I want to share, to finish up our meetings today, we always try to stick right to our timing. I want to share my gratitude for 1 Million Cups for all our presenters and the organizers. I am super blessed to be a part of this tribe. So my gratitude is just so big right now. So I'll share a Zig Ziglar quote. It says, "Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for." So I hope you all feel our gratitude and the love that we're sending out here to Colorado Springs, and it comes right back. So I'm not a huge yogi, but namaste.